This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and I want to let you know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Over 2 million men worldwide have joined the movement for all their below-the-waist needs. Engineers for the last 18 months have perfected the greatest hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0. The third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. You can choose the Lawnmower 3.0 as well as other items by going to manscaped.com, and you can also save 20% by using the promo code State of Saints. That's manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints and save 20% on the Lawnmower 3.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition is an edition of the State of the Saints podcast we haven't had in quite some time. And I'm talking about the Saints Q&A. That's right, the Saints Q&A edition. You all control the show, okay? Whatever direction this show goes in on this episode is because of you, all right? So I just ask that you submit your questions, put them out in the chat, to let everybody see them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want, ask some questions. I don't care what it is. You can ask me anything about the Saints, the NFL draft. You can ask me about some players that you think the Saints need to pick up in free agency. Heck, if you need just some life advice, man, feel free to do so. But before we get started, if you like the State of the Saints podcast, if you want to show love to the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscription. If you're new to the podcast, this is the most interactive Saints podcast that you're going to find on YouTube or anywhere else, okay? And I also want to thank Manscaped, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Got to give a shout out to Manscaped and adjust my camera at the same time. And also want to give a special shout out to Everlast, also an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you, Everlast. And in the month of April, we're working with Cash App. If you want to donate to the State of the Saints podcast, if you don't want to use the super chats with YouTube, and you don't want to use Facebook, you can always use $ State of Saints. Thank you very much, Cash App. For some of those that may not know what Cash App is, it's a money transferring app that you can use to transfer money to your family and friends. Hopefully nobody transferring money. If you send me $1,000, I'll send you this free trip, or I'll send you $20,000. Hopefully I ain't doing nothing like that. But transferring funds, man, and it's mostly the safe way to do it, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I want to give a special shout out to Jamal. I see Mario, Jerry. Let's see. Ann is in here. Cartier is in here. Brian, Faith. So thank you all so much, and so many others. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll start with Mark. Mark says, I heard the Saints may sign quarterback Nick Mullins in free agency. I hope not, because the dude is not good, okay? I'm just not a fan of Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins ain't what it is, okay? I don't trust Nick Mullins controlling my game. I wouldn't trust Nick Mullins holding my ice water. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll make it fall on the floor. Not a fan of Nick Mullins at all. I just think that he's probably one of those do-gooder guys who doesn't rattle the cage, who doesn't start a lot of mess, and he's one of those guys that everybody likes and he tries hard. But as far as that being a backup quarterback in game situations when the game is on the line, Hells to the no. All right. I do not want Nick Mullins on my team. I don't want Nick Mullins on my team. And to make sure that I nail this home, Bishop Bowen.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Yes, sir. Not a fan. Moving on. All right. West Coast checking in. Ernest, man, what's going on? Ernest says, Pitts. Chosen says, I freestyle to that intro every time that beat heard. Well, I appreciate it, man. I think it's the best intro we've done here. We've done about 3 different intros. I think that's the best one. I like it, Gets me fired up. I got the headphones on. I'm listening to it. Helps me get in my zone, before I have to do a show. Ren says, what should the Saints go first, linebacker or cornerback? Well, the most responsible thing would be the cornerback position because it's the position of need. It's the position that Sean Payton said that the Saints need to go after. So I would say cornerback. But if it was me, I said this on Twitter, and you can follow me at State of Saints. I said I understand that the responsible position would be corner, but if it was me, I'm picking Xavier Collins if he's there. I'm moving up aggressively to get this guy because I think he's going to end up being a great football player. So, yes, unless he gets hurt or something like that, then all bets are off. But if he plays a complete season, I think he's going to be one of the best linebackers in football for years to come. Jamal says, should the Saints select UCF cornerback Aaron Robertson in the second round? Not a name that I have on my radar. I know he's extremely talented. He's extremely athletic. You need that in your secondary, but he's not a name that I would suggest. I would suggest somebody like a Tyson Campbell. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy that I'm lobbying for. Somebody like that I know it might fall into the second round into the lap of the New Orleans Saints. So good player, athletic, might be in a rotation, but a full-time starter, I'm not sure about that. Dalton says, what's up, TJ? What's going on? Dalton, Mr. Pops 3000 says, who that? Herman out there in Italy says, who that, TJ? I'm really excited for the up-and-coming NFL draft. The sports analysts have us winning under 10 games this year. I'm glad to hear that they have us as an underdog. Let's prove them wrong. Look, I don't care what the analysts say. The analysts been writing the Saints off for years. So I guess they feel like eventually if they keep on saying it over and over and over again, eventually they'll get it right. So they can come on TV as if they've been saying this for years. And everybody been behind, the 8 ball except for them. Look, there's their old saying, right? They said a clock is right twice a day. So you keep on saying something over and over again, maybe, just maybe, you might get it right. Maybe you'll get it right. So hopefully they feel like they'll get it right. But I can care less about an analyst. They ain't always right all the time. And most of the time they're getting fed information through their ear because they can't even carry a show by them damn selves. Ren says Saints need to get their quarterback in the middle of the draft, like the 3rd round. I agree with that. What's up, everybody? Jared says, come on, Bishop. Yeah, man, we got to have the Bishop on the show when somebody says something that's just outrageous, okay? I don't want to say the question was outrageous, but to think that Nick Mullins, if they get Nick Mullins, then, I wouldn't be a fan of it. But, I'm not a coach or a person in the front office, so they can do what they want to do. Is Hill going to be the starting quarterback? Bishop Bowen.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Nah, it ain't happening, man. Look, I like Taysom a lot. I like him for what he actually does. I like what he brings to the table as an overall football player. I like his heart. I like his tenacity. I like his swag. I like his confidence. I like all the above. But at the end of the day, if I have 2 quarterbacks and I feel like who can play the quarterback position better out of Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, I'm rolling with Jameis Winston. Okay, Jameis Winston showed me that he can be a quarterback game in, game out. And for some apparent reason, people acting like Jameis Winston only played 1 year football. And that year is when he threw 30 interceptions. But what happened when he was throwing interceptions in the low teens and he was throwing 20-plus touchdowns? I didn't see anybody else talking about that. I don't see anybody bringing that up. The only time people are trying to bring things up is when they're talking about those 30 interceptions to try to discredit the quarterback play of a Jameis Winston. But I'll tell you this. If I got 2 quarterbacks, Taysom, Jameis, I'm rolling with Jameis. How was your day? Colorado, my day was fine, man. Didn't really do too much of anything. It was raining out here in South Carolina. Um, I'm dealing with a little bit of some allergies and stuff like that. Y'all probably can tell in my voice. Paxton is going through the same thing, you know what I'm saying, with the runny nose and everything like that. So didn't want to go anywhere, wanted to keep him in the house, man, and, just kind of, deal with that. But nevertheless, man, I mean, it's been fine, man. Just introducing him to some of the great cartoons I grew up on Disney Plus. We was watching Recess on yesterday, and we was watching Doug today. So, just excited to introduce my son to some of the cartoons I watched when I was growing up as a kid. But that's all we did this weekend. Ernest says Lattimore has become a huge problem, so much so that I worry. I disagree with that. I think that Lattimore is a really good football player. I think that he is a solid cornerback. The issue that happened in the offseason is alarming. I feel like he is going to get some type of disciplinary action because of that. I don't think they mentioned it because, quite frankly, it's the offseason. So I do feel like he's probably going to be brought in front of the NFL and he's going to miss a game or two. But as far as his play, I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. I think that he's a really good cornerback and very solid as a player. And I think the New Orleans Saints organization is lucky to have a guy like that. And I think with the addition of Chris Richard is going to expect greatness out of him and pull greatness out of him. There's going to be like a come to Jesus meeting, if you will, with Marshawn Lattimore, because if Chris Richard knows that Marshawn Lattimore has the tendency to be great, he's going to want to pull it out of him more. Marshawn and him going to really have an issue because I think that guy wants, even if you're a mediocre cornerback, he wants you to play exceptional. So Chance says, what do you think about moving up in the first for someone like Farley or even Horn if he falls to the Patriots? I'm not a real big fan of moving up too aggressively. In years past, I probably would have been a fan of this. If it was similar to the situation that the Saints went through last season when it came to depth, I would be an advocate for this. But when you're losing guys due to cap casualties, you got to make sure that you're not moving around too aggressively that can cause you hardship in the future. See, the Saints going to have to pay some guys. And because, they weren't successful over the last couple of years, they had to let some really good talent go. So this year, they're going to have to sit on a lot of draft picks, and they're going to really have to put their thinking hats on to really come up with some players that can really produce right away. And I don't feel like the Saints should be aggressively moving up in the draft, possibly losing themselves first round picks if you don't know for a fact what you really have at the quarterback position. Now we can hope that, these guys turn a corner, become better players, but we really do not know. We don't know what these guys are going to be able to do. So you don't want to relinquish another first round pick next year because that first round pick could possibly, I hate to say this, but it could be the quarterback of the future if Jameis don't pan out or Taysom don't pan out. So you want to be very, very careful this year, versus years past. Chosen, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says heard Saints trading both third-round picks to get 21st pick from Colts. I don't agree because the Saints have drafted good players in the third round. Yeah, man, I definitely agree with that. I agree. Let me drink a drink of water real quick. But yeah, I do agree with you. The Saints in the past have drafted some really good players. And I wanted to talk about that today, and that's a question of the day on this episode. Who are some of the best draft picks that you can think of that the Saints picked up, and who is the single worst draft pick to you? Okay, who is the worst draft pick the Saints have ever drafted, in your opinion? To me, if I could think about it, the worst draft pick to me had to be Danny Wolford. Danny Wolford, I feel like that was just an awful draft pick. Just straight up hot garbage. Don't get me wrong. Danny Wolford was a beast in college. He was really, really good. But on the NFL level, I just think that what Danny Wolford was doing, the NFL wasn't ready for it. The crazy thing about it is Danny Wolford in today's NFL probably would have been on somebody's football team. I just think that what they were actually doing at Florida, the NFL wasn't ready. They were running a spread offense at Florida in the mid-90s. And I just think the NFL wasn't really ready for that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they were looking at more pro-style quarterbacks. And I think Danny Wolf will struggle. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say Danny Wolf is going to be an MVP or something. But I do feel like he probably would have been in the NFL longer if he would have played in today's NFL. But I think he was the worst. The worst decision, I mean, goes without saying. I mean, Ricky Williams relinquishing all those draft picks to get Ricky Williams out of Texas. And we all know what happened with Ricky Williams, right? I mean, turf toe, you know what I'm saying, sprained ankle, you know, doing interviews with his helmet on. I mean, it was just an overall disaster. So those are two that stand out to me. But feel free to put some in a chat, you know, who's the best and who's the worst draft pick you could think of that the Saints picked up. Reports that he was blowing trees. Who we talking about here? What's up, TJ? Happy Sunday, big dog, man. It's looking beautiful and nice in our city today. It's going down on the lake. Yeah, man. I mean, look, that's every Sunday, right? You know, that's still a tradition. You know, going to the lake on Sundays. That's a little bit of a tradition, right? You know, everybody used to go out there, have a good time. You know, people bring their cars. You know, have them all waxed up, ready to go. You know, I remember those days. Troy says, what players pro days did the Saints attend? I remember them attending Mac Jones, Xavier Collins. They attended his. Sent the representative down to J.C. Horn's pro day. So quite a few guys. Dada, thank you so much for being a supporter. And he's giving a shout out to me as well as the chat. Jerry says, as long as we don't draft a left tackle, right guard, left guard or right tackle, I'm good. Don't be surprised. You know, Sean Payton loved his offensive line. Marshawn and Caleb Farley would be a nasty duo. I agree. Him and Greg Newsome the second would be a good matchup to me. Let's see. Dwayne Askridge, second round. You in or out? I'm out. I'm out. Look, I just feel like, look, if Jabril, like, if you draft the cornerback in the first round, if Jabril Cox is there when you get there, that's the next person that you need to be looking at. Look, I'm sick and tired of watching LSU have these linebackers that be lights out, playing lights out, and the Saints have an opportunity to get these guys, and they just whiff on them. If Jabril Cox is there in the second round, you draft him because it looks like they're going to draft a cornerback. And if you just so happen to draft a linebacker like Xavier Collins in the first round, you definitely go get yourself the best cornerback available that fits into your scheme, you know. And like I said, I feel like somebody like Tyson Campbell is going to be there. But if Jabril Cox is there, you draft a cornerback in the first round, that's who you go after. I'm sick of the Saints whiffing on LSU players, and those guys end up coming into the division and be wreaking havoc. Like I'm sick of it. Deion Jones wreaking havoc. Devin White wreaking havoc. Quan Alexander was wreaking havoc. Like I'm tired of it, man. Like how many times do you have to see something for you to realize that maybe you need to be doing the same damn thing? I just don't know. But got the Pac-Man on the show. Pac, you gonna wave? Gonna wave at everybody? All right. All right, we answering questions. We talking about the Saints. You say Saints?
Sure.
All right, Saints. All right. We're gonna move down a little bit. Jerry says that part right there, Winston over Hill. Yeah. Who you like, Winston or Taysom Hill? Who you like? You like Winston? Who you a fan of? No Winston? Okay. What about Taysom Hill? Are you gonna walk off on that? Okay. Well, that boy walked off on Taysom Hill. I don't know. Man, Paxton walked off on Taysom Hill, man, being a star, man. I don't know if that's a good thing. Nah. Lil Pack says, y'all don't hear me, though. Thank you very much for the $2. Tyrese says, all we got is Marshawn behind him. We got straight garbage corner. Yeah, we need to work on that. I won't say they garbage, but they definitely not above average. You know what I'm saying? They not up to snuff. Tyrese also said we can go linebacker second round, Jerry. I agree. TJ. Danny sucked. I wasn't a fan of Jonathan Sullivan or Rob Kelly. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Sullivan. That was awful. That was horrible right there. Yeah, that was some garbage too, you know. Yeah, that was I wasn't a fan of Jonathan Sullivan. I don't know about that one, man. That just wasn't a good one. Clemson linebacker Stephon Anthony was the worst. I don't want to say that Stephon Anthony was the worst. I feel like what they were trying to get him to do didn't fit his skill set. He was not a cover linebacker. He was a short tackler. I think they replaced him with Curtis Lofton, right? Curtis Lofton, he basically was like a copy and paste version of Curtis Lofton. Curtis Lofton couldn't cover. You know, he couldn't do anything in covers, but he was a sure tackler, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of the same thing with Stephon. You know, it just didn't work out. I wouldn't say that he was awful. I just think that the Saints just put him in positions where he wasn't going to succeed, and they thought he was something that he wasn't. That was just a bad scouting report. We can get Jabril Cox second round. If they can, then they should. Giving a shout out to Tyrese and Black and Gold Breakdown Podcast. As long as we don't get an old lineman, I'm fine. Don't be surprised if we do. Chemo, what's going on, man? Also a supporter of the State of the Saints podcast. Chan says we'd have the best secondary in the league with Lattimore, Farley, and C.D. Deuce. That remains to be seen, man. I got to see. I know what the other two guys can. I know what C.D. Deuce and Lattimore can do. I don't know what Farley can do yet. You know what I'm saying? We just basing that off what he did in college, and we all know that just because you a good player in college don't mean you're going to transition to the pros. But I mean, I give him the benefit of the doubt. On paper, he looks like he'll be a good fit. I wouldn't mind Farley, but I'm concerned with his back. I'm concerned with his tackling. That's what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with him getting beat on certain plays as well. Like, I will say that he has a great ability to adapt. When he gets beaten coverage, he has a way of turning around, you know what I'm saying, at the right moments and fixing a mistake, fixing his technique. But you're not going to always be able to do that in the NFL. Like, if you get beaten coverage, you might not be able to recover. I think a lot of the time he was able to recover because the quarterbacks he was playing against in college, you know, but that tackling concerns me. Him getting beat in coverage from time to time concerns me. You know, him not being able to turn his head around in certain moments concerns me. His technique when he's right there in the pocket is great, but sometimes he gets beat quite a bit. And because like the quarterback is a little bit late with the football or, you know, throw it like at a certain spot, he's able to adjust. You ain't gonna be able to do that in the NFL, man. You're gonna have to fix that. How about Caleb Farley? I actually did a video for all the supporters of the State of the Saints podcast. You all checked it out. I gave my opinion, kind of, you know, more in-depth opinion on Caleb Farley. You know, I talked a little bit about him. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can check it out. Become a supporter of the State of the Saints podcast. There's a video out on Caleb Farley right now. Jerry, give a shout out to the Pac-Man. Do you have anything planned for the NFL draft this year? Yeah, I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here, man. We're going live, right, for the second annual State of the Saints podcast, NFL Draft Edition. Okay, we're going to be having draft reactions. So we're going to be covering the first round of the NFL draft live. Okay, just like we did last year, man. That was one of my favorite shows of all time, right there, man. It was an absolute classic. It was an absolute classic, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing that again. So if you're not doing anything on a Thursday night, you want to watch the NFL draft and you want to be around the fellow members of the Who Dat Nation, come on in and take part in the draft. We're going to be taking phone calls. We're going to be opening up the phone lines once again. We're going to be giving reactions to rival teams' draft picks, and I'm even going to be talking to some people of rival teams, about their draft pick decisions. So you do not want to miss the State of the Saints podcast draft edition, the second annual State of the Saints podcast draft edition. Looking forward to it, man. I'm walking off on Taysom too as a quarterback. Taysom Hill. Pac-Man said deuce. Pac-Man said, what about Winston? He stayed. What about Taysom? That boy walked off, man. That man walked off on Taysom. He didn't have to do it like that, man. He didn't have to do it like that. Pac-Man walked off on that man. If we can't get Cox jamming from Kentucky in a second, yeah, that would be a good pick too. That would be a good pick. Saints can't draft Big Ten players. It's about players fit systems. Man, I don't know about that. That's all they seem to be drafting, Big Ten players, if we talking about Ohio State. Pat Swilling was the Saints' best draft pick. One of them. I mean, that's kind of tough right there. I won't say it was their best draft pick. I think the Saints' best draft pick to me was Marcus Coaston. Pat Swilling definitely, you know what I'm saying, like top draft pick to me, Marcus Coaston was. Like, if you look at Marcus Coaston, like where he came from, you know what I'm saying, being a 7th-round pick coming out of high school, I think he got to go in there. I think he got to be one of the best Saints draft picks. And guys like Kamara and guys like Michael Thomas starting to emerge for that spot. You know, like these guys emerging to become one of the best. I would even throw Mark Ingram in there. I think Mark Ingram was one of the best Saints draft picks. You know, I think that Mark Ingram did a really good job here. I'm trying to just look back. The Saints had some really good draft picks. I'll say from about from when they draft Reggie Bush on back, they had some pretty good draft picks. But to me, I would throw Marcus Coaston in that number. I think Marcus Coaston, to me, probably was the Saints' best draft pick of all time next to Pat Swilling. He up there. If we throwing a Mount Rushmore on same draft picks, Marcus Coaston in there. He definitely in there. I think the Saints should draft Greg Newsome II. I like him a lot too. I think he's a better tackler than Caleb Farley is. And he has like better eye discipline to me. I would say Jonathan Sullivan was a big draft bust. TJ, he was drafted in the 6th round of the 03 draft, defensive end. And right now Davenport, because all the draft we gave up, just my opinion. I wouldn't call Davenport a bust. I wouldn't call him a bust. If I'm calling out bust, I would look at somebody like I look at it like this, right? Okay, I think that's a fair assessment. If we're looking at it based on what we expected from a person, I would say that he's a bust. But if we're going to talk about that, I would put Dante Stallworth in there as a bust. I would put Robert Meacham in there as a bust. Both of those guys were 1st-round draft picks. And when you're a 1st-round draft pick, your job is you're supposed to lead the team in receptions and yards. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be that dude. Okay, so to me, if we're looking at it from that criteria, Damian, I would have to throw those guys in as busts. But you know, some of the best also, you know what I'm saying? I got to add Cameron Jordan in there as well. Cam Jordan is definitely one of the best as well. You know, got to throw him up in there too. What y'all think about Charles Grant? Bust, not a bust, one of the best, not one of the best. What y'all think about Charles Grant? My favorite moment from the draft is when people is booing Roger Goodell. Well, I think that's always gonna happen. He probably happy that the draft is mostly remote, you know, because now he ain't got to worry about he ain't nobody booing him. What do you think is the best corner prospect after Horn? Should we go cornerback in the 1st round? Yes, we should, and all signs indicate that we will. We will go corner in the 1st round. I mean, even Sean Payton, he addressed that matter, and he said it. He pretty much said that we need corners. That's what we need. Okay, I think I still have that clip if I didn't delete it already. Yeah, I actually deleted it, but it was Sean Payton actually talking about corner was a need. So definitely J.C. Horn, and then I would have to say Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain would be the next guy, but he is going to be gone right along with J.C. Horn. I never see TJ so mad in all my years of following the podcast from last year's first pick. Oh man, I was hot. Oh man, I next episode I'm gonna go into the archives. I'm gonna pull that up for people that didn't see that. I think that probably was a legendary. Like like this is a rapid fire show, right? So I really don't know what I'm gonna say on the show because I mean, quite frankly, I don't know what you all are gonna ask me. So my reaction to that was like as organic as whole food milk. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like straight organic and just like the anger because I don't think it wasn't so much about Cesar Ruiz, okay? It was the fact that I got my heart set on them drafting Jordan Love. Like I've read into all the reports, like, man, Jordan Love, the Saints love Jordan Love. They love what they saw at the Senior Bowl. And when I seen that the Patriots didn't get him and they moved out, and I was like, oh man, you could not tell me that the Saints weren't about to get Jordan Love. I was like, man, they about to get this dude. I was excited. Like I said, I was rubbing my hands, man. Like I was sweating like I was about to be drafted. Then when the boy said Caesar. No disrespect to Cesar Ruiz, man. Like, I think he's a good player. I think he's going to end up being a good player for the Saints. But, man, boy, that and me believing they're going to get Lamar Jackson, that kind of goes into that same category. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. And now we have a word from our sponsor, Manscaped. And it says, with the first pick of the 2021 men's grooming draft, the Ball Saxonville Sagwar select Manscaped, the leader in below the waist grooming. Looks like Mel Kiper gave it an A+ because the pick is a major upgrade from that Bush defense. For all of the NFL draft fans, I have an exclusive offer for you. You go to manscaped.com, you use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, State of Saints. And you will save 20% on your purchase. Manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And also, once again, the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Everlast. Since 1910, Everlast has been involved in MMA and all contact sports. You probably see some of the best boxers in the world, like Saul, Canelo Alvarez. You see Deontay Wilder. All these guys walk to the ring and they trust Everlast when they get in that ring for them to do that work. And I'm encouraging you to check out everlast.com, man. If you're into sports, they got shirts, they got protective gear in case, you want to do some sparring. I actually got, a punching bag as well as some Everlast gloves, man. I've been putting in some work with that too. And you can too, man. Go to everlast.com and check out some of the items that they have available, man. And also, finally, Cash App. Special thank you to Cash App for the month of April, working with the State of the Saints podcast, bringing attention to Cash App, one of the number one wire transfer, electronic transfer Cash Apps that you can use. If you want to donate to the State of the Saints podcast, use that $ State of Saints. Now, all the announcements, church announcements are out of the way. I think we have, we have another announcement from the Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. Would like to cordially invite you to the pastor's 5th year appreciation. Refreshments will be served. All right, so let's move. Y'all remember when we were in church, man, they used to have the old lady. She used to have her glasses cocked down low. There's a announcement from the Shiloh number 2 Baptist Church inviting us to the annual prayer breakfast. Y'all remember them days, man? Used to have every announcement, man. Everybody used to have them announcements. Yeah. We, the pastors, officers, and members of the above named church, cordially invite you to our usher board anniversary. Refreshments will be served. Dada, number 1, thank you for the $3. Says, what 2 positions can you see New Orleans selecting? That's easy. Give me something hard, Dada. Linebacker and cornerback. Slim South 504 says, what up, Who Dat Nation? Excited about the draft. It should be interesting, man. If you're excited, man, come on, join us, man. If you're not doing anything on a Thursday, feel free to come through. Second annual State of the Saints podcast draft reaction show. Okay, it's gonna be exciting, man. Picks 1 through 32. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be talking about those draft picks, man. It's exciting. I'm excited, man. This is always like the best time of the year. Best time of the year for the off season. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen again. First, my obedience to the Almighty God. Second, to the pastor, officers, and members, everyone's. Kim Horn says, yes, indeed. Let the Who Dat Nation say amen. I remember taking 15 minutes for announcements at church. My goodness. Ain't that right? Then half of the stuff you didn't even go to, you know. Somebody had a prayer breakfast over here. Somebody had the church appreciation over here. Somebody had the building fund anniversary over here. You know, groundbreaking ceremony. Y'all know how I go, man. It's Sunday, so I don't feel bad about talking about this. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Let the church say amen. Floyd says, I love the State of the Saints podcast. Well, I appreciate it, Floyd, man. Special shout out to you, man. Special shout out to you. I met a guy named Floyd, man, the other day, man. I wonder if that's the same guy. Floyd, do you stay in Myrtle Beach? Miguel, thank you very much for the $9.99. I appreciate that. Caleb says, do you think we will be able to land Xavier Collins at 28? Probably not. But I wouldn't be mad at the Saints moving up in the draft. Do we have someone to replace Morstead? Yeah, I think Gilligan? I think that's his name. The point out of Penn State. I mean, from what I hear, a beast, man. I mean, he had a insane hang time average in college, and he has a really good leg, man. You know, I think that I don't think the Saints would have got rid of Thomas Morstead if they felt like they didn't have somebody adequate enough to replace him. And that is one thing about the Saints. If they get rid of a kick on special teams, they always replace him with something better. I mean, we've seen with Will Lutz, right? You know he struggled towards the end of the season, but Will Lutz is a beast. Gigatis, Chosen Kingston, Blake Gilligan, yeah. But I think he's going to stay there. The Saints wouldn't have got rid of Thomas Morstead if he didn't. Thomas Morstead might end up going to the Patriots since he's Bill Belichick's favorite player. Dada, number one. Also, thank you once again for the 333. It says, what two positions you see New Orleans selecting twice? Linebacker. Linebacker. I see him selecting at linebacker. That's what I feel. That you can never have too many linebackers. Between having linebackers as a starter and on special teams, I feel like they need linebackers. What receiver have you covered so far would you consider being slept on the most? Carnell Powell out of Clemson. Carnell Powell, who I feel like is a faster version of Michael Thomas. I just think he kind of flew under the radar because of T. Higgins and Justin Ross. I think he kind of flew under the radar because those guys were there. But Carnell Powell, to me, is a guy that I feel like would be a great fit for the New Orleans Saints. That's the guy that I really have a lot of confidence in. I think that he can come in, step in right away. I think he needs to work on his blocking, but I don't think it's something that would just stop him from hitting the field. I think he can be a problem for the New Orleans Saints. Carnell Powell is the guy that I feel like could be there around the third round when the Saints need a wide receiver. I feel like that would be a good pick. That's the guy that I covered. I'm trying to see if anybody else that I looked at and I was like, man, Bateman, you know what I'm saying? Bateman out of Minnesota is another guy that I love, but I don't think he's going to be there around the time when the Saints will probably feel like they need to select a wide receiver. But Bateman, he's going to be really, really good. No Durant, Oklahoma. Nah, not for me. Not for me. Hugh Hefner can take the picture, but only God can make it. Yes. That's coming from Eugene, representing Southern University. Speaking of Southern University, man, y'all check out the State of the Swag podcast that's available right now on YouTube for all my HBCU lovers out there. Okay, that's what if you like swag football, you like HBCU football, check out the State of the Swag podcast. Getting that started. Very excited about that, man. Basically, it's not a long podcast, man. I'm kind of, starting it off like I did with the State of the Saints podcast. Few little videos on certain topics, but just check it out, man. Tell me what you all think. All right. Yannick says select twice cornerback and maybe even twice wide out. I don't think the Saints are as in need of a wide out as much as we think, Yannick. I really don't, man. I really don't. I think these guys are going to be pretty good. Look up Presley Harvin. I hope we get him as our punter. He's 5'11", 265 pounds, and booms it. Well, look, I'm willing to see what Blake Gilligan can do. I'm willing to see what Gilligan gonna do. I'm not gonna write him off. Like I said, I think the Saints. I know how the Saints work. I know how they work. The Saints don't draft. The Saints don't get rid of players if they don't feel like they got adequate replacement for them. Especially on special teams. They keep those guys. Miguel, thank you very much for the $9.99. Dada Saints, once again, thank you very much for the 333. Gigatus says, because your shirt is lit. Thank you very much for the 846. Yeah, man. Shouts out to yeah, man. Y'all know what this is all about, man. I'm wearing the 846 shirt, I'm saying, in memory of George Floyd, I'm saying? I decided to, get the 846 shirt. 8 minutes, 46 seconds. That's how long Derek Chauvin stood with his knee on the neck of George Floyd. Okay, so the 846 represents that time frame, 846. Right. So rest in peace to George Floyd. Dwayne Askridge could be there in the third. I agree. Yeah, I think so, but I don't know, man. The way the draft is going, man, I can see him possibly getting picked up in the second, man. He's an extraordinary player. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a little rough around the edges, but in the right situation, I think that he might end up being a really good football player for a team. I don't know, man. It depends on what a team sees in him, but I don't see him lasting in the third round. And if it do, he gonna get his name called very, very early in the third. Austin Watkins, Amir Smith, Marset, and Who Dat Nation favorite. I don't even know how to pronounce this dude's name, but I know who you're talking about. Could be wide receivers. We look at fire. And man, I know exactly who this guy is, man, because I remember watching some of his footage. And I was like, man, that man has a very funny name. But yeah, those are some guys that can possibly be there late in rounds. But I don't really concern myself with the Saints with wide receivers late in the draft because, quite frankly, they always seem to get a receiver that can do some good things. Rather with Traquan Smith, before, what I'm saying, they always seem to try to find guys that kind of fit into what they're actually trying to do. So I don't have a issue with that at all. He gonna fall because of all the drops, but he fast though. That don't matter. That don't matter. You know why? I'm gonna tell you about a nice little receiver that came in from LSU in the second round named Devery Henderson. Devery Henderson used to drop a lot of passes when he was in college, and he dropped a lot of passes when he was playing for the Saints. But you know what? Devery Henderson, got with Curtis Johnson, right? And he became really good and became a really good downfield threat. People remember Devery Henderson because this dude had blazing speed, but man, your boy couldn't catch a cab. You know what I'm saying? This man couldn't catch a cab if he whistled right in front of it. You know what I'm saying? He just couldn't. The dude couldn't catch a cold and 40 below zero, but he worked on it and he got better. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. If you got speed, a team is going to work with you. They gonna work with you. Yannick says, I like our wide receivers, but those wide receivers 2 and 3 spots wide open. Here's the thing about the wide receiver number 2. I think it's a fair question to ask. And I know I'm about to make people mad because I'm talking about everybody's favorite quarterback, Drew Brees, right? I think it's a fair question to ask. Were these guys limited at the wide receiver position? Because Drew Brees could not feed into what these guys do best. Like Traquan Smith can get can be a downfield threat. But he couldn't really run downfield routes because he knew Drew Brees wasn't going to get him the football. And saying me about that stuff like, man, no, that ain't it. Drew Brees went on record and said that he was limited. He said that he only had a few tools in his toolbox that he can use. So is it the guys or is it the fact that Drew Brees was limited so they couldn't utilize these guys' strengths? I think it's time for us to really look at that. Can we look at the fact that maybe Traquan Smith might live up to his potential now that he has somebody like Jameis that's going to throw him the football if he's open past 10 yards? I think it's fair for us to ask that question, all right? I'm not poo-pooing on Drew Brees. I'm just calling for what it is. This is what Drew said. I don't want nobody, man, Drew, man, here we go with the Drew hate. No, bro. This is what Drew said. Drew said he was limited. So is it the fact that these guys couldn't emerge as those number 2, number 3 receivers because Drew was holding these guys back because of his limitation? I'm talking about late in his career, okay? I ain't talking about like in his prime, okay? He made wide receivers. But I'm talking about late in his career when his arm wasn't as strong and he couldn't do some of the things he did when he was a younger version of himself. That's all I'm saying. I would like to see. I would like to reserve my judgment till the facts come out. All right. I'm not going to poo-poo on Traquan. I'm not going to poo-poo on, like Jalen McCleskey. I'm not going to poo-poo on Lil Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Austin Carr is who we think he is. I don't think he all that. I'm going to reserve my judgment. Okay, Juwan Johnson and crew. Juwan was out there working out with James. So maybe he'll have a little chemistry with him and play a little better. I do not know. All right. That's all I'm saying. That second and third receiver position looks a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Now that I know what Drew Brees was going through. Were they limited? The answer is yes. Yes, TJ, they were limited, the wide receivers. That's all I'm saying. Like, we got to look at it. We got to look at it for what it is, folks. We got to look at it for what it is. It to me is almost like a person, okay, let's just say if you are a mail sorter, right? Your job is to sort the mail. Night before it's time for you to come into work, you bust your shoulder, right? You know what I'm saying? You go to the hospital, now you're in a sling. So now, you know what I'm saying, you was using both of your hands to switch it to the other hand, right? Move from left to right like this, move to left to right. All of a sudden, you don't have your right shoulder, right? You don't have that. So now you're moving a little slower. It's like somebody coming in here, man, why you working so slow? What's your problem, right? Why are you working so slow? Like, what you gonna be like, man? Don't you see I'm limited, man? Don't you see I'm working with one arm here? I ain't gonna work as fast as I do with two, right? So all I'm saying is give these guys the benefit of the doubt. What I saw where Traquan Smith become a better wide receiver this past season, I don't hear no Traquan hate this year. None. Traquan Smith was on the menu every single episode of the State of the Saints podcast going into this past season. Going into 2020, Traquan Smith was on the menu, okay? Filet man Traquan, grilled Traquan, you know what I'm saying, like Boston cream Traquan, it was on the menu. I don't hear nobody saying nothing about Traquan right now. I see people talking about how better he's gotten as a blocker, how better he has gotten, catching balls in traffic and being a third down receiver. That's all I'm saying, all right? So I think if you add the fact that he's a downfield threat, which he was in college, you add that to his arsenal because he is really faster than a lot of people give him credit for. I think you might see Traquan actually have a breakout season. That's all I'm saying. Give that man some credit. Give him some credit. TJ, do you see the Saints in the later round drafting O lineman or D lineman to replace some depth that they lost? Absolutely. Like I said, Sean Payton loves O lineman to the detriment of Jerry. To the detriment of Jerry, who don't want to see them draft O lineman. Gigaton says our wide receivers were definitely limited by Drew in the last few years for sure. That's all I'm saying. Give these guys some credit. Give these guys a chance to really see what they have. For real, Traquan about to blow. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Some of the players that we respect as Saints players of the past, like Devery Henderson and Robert Meacham and Joseph Morgan and Lance Moore. I don't think any of those guys would have the same type of respect that we have for them today if Drew Brees was playing like he was doing in the last 4 years with them. I'm just being serious, folks. Drew Brees made these guys special because he was able to utilize their strengths. They were able to beat downfield vertical threats, and also in the case of Lance Moore, he was a downfield threat, of course, but he was also a third down conversion type receiver. I don't think we have the respect we have for those guys today if Drew Brees was playing like he was in the last 4 years. And I'm not saying Drew Brees sucked. Okay, let me make that clear, because I know a lot of people like to change my words around and want me and make it seem like I'm insinuating something. I'm not saying Drew Brees sucked. I'm just saying his limitations cause guys that might have strengths going downfield. It cost them, and it made us look at those guys different. That's all I'm saying. Drew was limited, and now we will see what the wide receivers can do. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Floyd said Brees is the best, but he just doesn't have the arm that he once had. Absolutely. That's basically what I'm saying in a nutshell. Thank you, Floyd. Giving a shout out to Michael. Baker is a bust. He lost to the Cardinals last year. How that bum lose to Kyler Murray? Are we talking about Baker Mayfield? Or are we talking about another Baker? But what Baker are we talking about here? I don't know. Yeah. You gotta decide what you want to do, son. You want to be up or down? I guess he thought we were going to be talking about Taysom Hill again. I'll leave you too. He thought I was going to talk about Taysom Hill again. He got up and left. Tess said, just chilling, checking out the entertainment. TJ is dropping. How are you doing, honey bun? Giving a shout out to Tess. Luke says they're going to get offensive tackle because Armstead will be hard to resign without cap. Peak could be traded too because his cap number is big, plus the class is stacked. Yeah, that's true. But I can see the Saints actually shifting Andrews Peak if they were to get rid of Teron Armstead, because I think they feel like Andrews Peak can play left tackle. If push came to shove, and they had to do that. I think the Saints just don't sign guys to those long-term contract for no reason at all. There's always a mystery behind the madness of the Saints. Even with Cesar Ruiz, you know what I'm saying? They drafted Cesar Ruiz, and we're just wondering what the hell are they doing until we realized that they was going to get rid of Larry Wolford to save $9 to $10 million. So there's always a method. There's always a method behind the madness, not a mystery behind the madness, but a method behind the madness that is the New Orleans Saints. Injuries absolutely limit the call and cost us. I want to see Jameis rip for 250, 300 yards, 3 to 4 touchdowns a game. Yeah, those injuries can always hurt us, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows those injuries can hurt us, man. Every time, we think that we're going to have a good year, all of a sudden this happens. And so hopefully the Saints can stay healthy this season. Yeah, man, I ain't trying to see that, man. I ain't trying to see the injuries pile up like that. Bringing it up again, I think Stephon Anthony was damn sure a bust. What do you think, TJ? Yeah, for his position, being a first-round pick, yeah, I do. I do think he was a bust. Getting my vaccine tomorrow, TJ, nervous. I have absolutely nothing to be nervous about, man. I actually got my vaccine out in, I want to say February, right? I went and got it in February, man. I'm fine. The first shot didn't really have any issues. Second shot, you know what I'm saying, you might feel a little funny for a couple hours. But yeah, man, I got my 2 cards right here, man. You know what I'm saying? My 2 shots. You know what I'm saying? And I feel great. You know, I mean, just these allergies and the weather don't know what the heck you want to do. That's the only thing that's kind of messing with me. But besides that, I'm fine. Watch your boy Tevin Jenkins. His nickname should be Pancake. We met him pre-draft, him and Asante Samuel, and only 2 first rounders we met in the pre-draft process. Okay. Well, I'll definitely be on the lookout for Pancake, man. You know, I'll definitely be looking out for him. Jared said Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, man, got to put the Tecmo Bowl up there. I honestly feel like we good at wide receiver. Traquan is going to be better with Harris, Callaway, Mike T. I didn't even mention Harris. As long as he stay healthy, Harris should be a problem for everybody. He just got to stay healthy, man. He just got to stay healthy. Eugene says all those stats are cool and everything, but I just want Jameis to shine and be efficient with us relying more on the run. He'll be a terror in the play action game. I agree. And I think the Saints understand that. That's the reason why they decided to beef up the O-line. You know, I think so. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the reason why, you know, because I feel like they're going to want to run the football until they feel like the quarterback is more comfortable with the playbook. You know, I think they're going to rely on the run a lot. Yernick said, TJ got his vaccine and started calling Taysom quarterback 1 5 minutes later. Nah, then I wouldn't be taking vaccine. I would be taking something called heroin. You know, like because I'll be high. Because I would definitely have to be high to believe that. Like I just don't, man. I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. I like Taysom, but I just don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with the dog food. Okay, I don't mess with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with that. I don't mess with the dog food. You know what I'm saying? The booger sugar, none of that. Okay. I'm very cognizant, you know what I'm saying, what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm clear, you know what I'm saying? I see the picture clear in high definition, 1080p. Okay. That I feel like Taysom, unless Taysom like goes to Moramar Mountain, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he gets a football, right? And he gets the football, and comes back down to earth. And let's just say, for example, he goes into Back to the Future. He gets a DeLorean and travels back to 1983, right? And he snatches the talent of Joe Montana. Then he hops back in that DeLorean and goes a little further down around 89, and he gets the talent of Jim Kelly. Then he goes into the 90s and then get the arm strength of a Brad Favre. And then he zooms in until around the 2000s, around 2007, 2008, and draft and get the accuracy of a Drew Brees. That's the only way I can see Taysom Hill being a starting quarterback game in, game out for the New Orleans Saints. Okay, he would have to pilfer the talents of some of the best quarterbacks of all time, and I really just feel like Sean is more high on Jameis. High on Jameis than he is Taysom. You know, people want to argue and debate and all that kind of stuff. Look, the players themselves, you know what I'm saying? The players themselves have said this. Okay. Players have told me personally that they would prefer, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would actually show this if they did, you know what I'm saying? If they told me this in confidence, right? I would actually show it, but I'm not. All right. That they have told me that they would prefer Jameis over Taysom. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about in practice, they said Jameis, you know what I'm saying, over Taysom. They say they like him. They respect him. That's their guy. But they would take Jameis over Taysom. You heard Cameron Jordan in interviews even talked about Jameis as a starter before Jameis even signed a contract to come back to the Saints. So I really just don't know. All this is like everybody that just talking about Taysom, this is just wishful thinking to them. That's what they want. That's what they believe. Please, for the love of Lord, for the love of God, please, Lord. Nah, bro. They like Jameis, right? And this is Jameis' job to lose. And right now, the confidence that his teammates have in him is up to Jameis to lose. Taysom winning that quarterback competition. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Yannick, I don't know, man. Look, I don't know what else to tell you. Where can I get that hat, TJ? We got some hats coming out real soon, man. I got some hats that I'm working on with lids. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and try to buy some hats that I can, you know what I'm saying, that I can ship out and you all can order. Yeah, I don't want to, I want to make sure that everything in line before I say some hats are available and all that kind of stuff. But I am working with Liz, man. Liz designed all my hats, from the unapologetic hat with my face on there to the SOTS hats. They designed these for me, So I'm going to be working with them, try to see if we can get some deals on some hats so we can get them out to you all, man. But I love this hats, man. Shouts out to Liz and New Era, New Era for for the hat. Appreciate that. Let's see. I would like for us to get Travis Etienne. He might not be there around the time the Saints need a running back. I think he might be a second round pick. Let's see, TJ. Who you think will be calling our offense? Do we add an advisor? Maybe Sean Payton can back off that predictable stuff. Well, I think Sean Payton gonna be calling these plays, and I think you might see a different version of Sean Payton. Look, just like anything in this world, right? New can sometimes be very, very exciting. New can be something that really inspires you, helps you to change. I just think that Sean Payton, being with Drew Brees for 15 years, those two can basically finish each other's sentences, right? And I just think sometimes it can get a little stale. But now you have two quarterbacks that you can actually create plays to put them in positions to succeed. I think he's going to be up to the challenge. So I think you might see a better version of Sean Payton. I'm excited to see this. I think Sean Payton is excited. I think he's more excited than he's trying to make it out to be. You'll probably never get his honest opinion about it unless you really close to him behind closed doors. But I think he's excited to take on the challenge. Look, anytime a coach has his all-time player leave and that all-time player is who the media looks to and says the reason why they're so successful is because of that guy. We've seen it with Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady leaves New England, goes to Tampa, wins the Super Bowl. You don't think Bill Belichick chomping at the bit to try to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady? I mean, come on, man. It's a competitive league, and they're not just competitive against the opposition. They're competitive in their own organization. So I think that Sean wants to show people that he's a damn good coach. Sean Payton is cementing his legacy right now. Sean Payton, we say he's a Hall of Fame coach, but if he becomes successful without Drew, my man, you know what I'm saying? And then he's going to be on his way to the Hall of Fame. He's going to be a certified Hall of Fame. Mike Tyson says, even I am scared of TJ's right hook. Nah, I don't know about that. I ain't messing with no Mike Tyson. Nah, man, Mike, I ain't messing with no Mike. You good over there, Mike. You good, man. Donald says, what up, TJ? I look, and I think Greg Newsome II is the right cornerback for our team. If not him, then Zaven Collins is the right draft pick if Greg Newsome II is gone before 28. Your thoughts? I'm a big fan of Greg Newsome. I'm a huge fan of Zaven Collins. But if it was up to Caleb Farley and Greg Newsome, if I had to pick out of those two, yeah, I would go with Greg Newsome II. I'm going to take a few more, and then we're going to get up out of here, folks. I'm going to start with Floyd here. Floyd says, all this football talk, I cannot wait till football season and some Saints football. Who that? Man, me neither, man. I hate this time of the year. I really do. Eugene says, ignore my above comments. I have typos and YouTube won't let me correct them. Well, Eugene, I mean, look, I know sometimes we typing fast and we trying to get our points off. I try to T9 them every now and then, if I kind of know what you all are saying, So it's no problem, man. We understand. People try to type fast. Sometimes we try to spell our words. Sometimes we try to spell people's names and our phones, our computers don't recognize the names. And, I get it, man. So, yeah, but I try to fix it as much as I can. Sean Payton said, finally, I'm free of Drew's midget tail. I don't think he feels that way, but I think he's up to the challenge. I will say that. And Let's see. Tyrese says, I heard Chris Richard want to bring back Legion of Boom with the Saints defense. If he does, feel free. Feel free. I would love it. No, TJ, Vander Holyfield is who you don't want to mess with. I don't want to mess with Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield, okay? Especially Mike Tyson, man, you know. Yeah, I'm glad I just got earphones on, you know what I'm saying? If I ain't messing with that dude, man. Mike Tyson on another level. TJ, Travis Etienne is available. What do you think about him and Kamara? Scary sight. If he's available and the Saints feel the need, yeah. If you can get him and you're thinking about trading or getting rid of Latavius Murray, I'm not a fan of it, but I understand. I mean, money, right? I'm all for it, but I'm not a real big fan of getting rid of Latavius. I like Latavius a lot, and I feel bad that he just gets the short end of the stick everywhere that he goes. Evander Holyfield says, forget Mike. I'm the one you don't want to mess with. Ronald says, do you think Sean Payton should go back to using 3 running backs? No, I do not. Two should be what you use. I don't like 3. Reinstate the bounty program, but only for Falcon games. Well, I'm not a fan of the bounty game, man. And honestly, I don't think that the Saints actually need a bounty pool for the Falcons. The Falcons aren't really that good right now. You know, like it's just a fact. I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Falcons. It's just what it is. Right. And quite frankly, you know, they're not even worth talking about, you know, to me. You know, but now I'm not a fan of the bounty. I like the dynamic we have with Latavius and Kamara. Me too. I like that. Mike, thank you very much for the $2. Says I want Jabril Cox from LSU and Stokes from UG Trey Sermon. I want Jabril Cox. I think that he'll be a good linebacker. I think that he needs to I think the Saints need to take a look at some of these LSU linebackers, man. I'm tired of watching these guys wreak havoc in the league, and the Saints right there, hour and 30 minutes from these dudes, and still don't want to pull the trigger on them. Josh and Jesus says I just farted. I'm pretty sure there ain't Josh and Jesus that said that. I'm pretty sure it's not. Chosen said, TJ, if you're drafted in the first round with 32 picks, what's the order of the draft and its quarterbacks only with today's quarterbacks? You said if you're drafting in the first round with 32 picks, what's the order of the draft of its quarterbacks only with today's quarterbacks? Are you talking about like if I'm doing 32 teams in the order of the NFL draft, like talking about the quarterbacks that's playing today? Am I doing it like that, or are you talking about like the order of the draft right now, like in order of what quarterback would be, you know, suitable? I'm not too sure about what you mean, Chosen. But if you're asking me in the order of who's actually playing right now, it'll probably take me some time in order for me to pull that up. But if I did, probably be on the next episode where I can have some time to think about that. I'm not sure. But if I could do like top 5, if I'm normal, I can do like top 5 probably off my head. Number 1 clearly would be Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 to me would be Deshaun Watson. Number 3 would be Aaron Rodgers. Number 4 would be Russell Wilson. And number 5, I probably would put number 5. Let me look around the leagues. I'll put Josh Allen in there. Keep it young. And then probably number 6 would be like somebody like Lamar Jackson. Yeah, somebody like that, but I have to look, man. I'm kind of shooting it at the wall, trying to figure out who is who. You see, I love the Lord. You see, I love the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? I love the Lord. And in loving the Lord is wrong. I don't want to be right. He said, he helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Blake Gilligan get off the island Lord. That's coming from Eugene. And finally, we got Mike says, little man having fun back there, huh? Yeah, I got the TV on in the background. Pretty sure y'all can hear him laughing and celebrating and stuff like that. He looking at his favorite shows, and I think he has like a little plastic baseball bat back there, that he likes to hit the floor with. But he having a good time. But nevertheless, thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Thank you all so much for your time, and also for all of the listeners that love HBCU football. You want another podcast focusing on HBCU swag football? Check out the State of the Swag podcast, available right now on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. Till next time, all I got to say is